everyone, and thank you for joining today's UMB Institute for Clinical and Translational Research Enrichment Series presentation, Advancing REDCap at UMB, Best Practices and the Transition to a New Platform, presented by our ICTR REDCap professionals, Jen Mock and Brian Gerald. Just a little background, Brian and Jen were recruited by the ICTR last summer, Brian from DC and Jen from Denver, Colorado, to assist with transitioning projects out of the aging School of Medicine REDCap to a new campus-level cloud-based platform where the UMB Center for Information Technology Services, CITS, fully supports the back-end IT elements, and Jen and Brian providing expanded free support services to users. During this time, Jen and Brian also worked closely with College Park to transition all of their REDCap projects from their aging system over to our new platform, and now we fully support College Park's REDCap projects and requests. These transitions have involved multiple highly skilled teams to plan, coordinate, and execute, and the ICTR is fortunate that we were able to bring Jen and Brian, two exceptional REDCap administrators with broad, diverse expertise, to our campus and to this team. We have an extraordinary number of attendees for this session, over 160 registered, who added comments in their registration noting what they were interested in learning about. Brian and Jen gave much consideration about how to touch on those questions, and while they may not be able to address all of your questions today, this is only one of many presentations to come, and their door is always open if you have a question or need help building your REDCap project. Today's presentation will cover quite a bit of information. Brian and Jen will provide a brief background history about REDCap, how it excels over Qualtrics for clinical research and should be your go-to for data collection, information about the new platform and some of the newer features, new UMB and UMS medical record data security requirements, a highlight of best practices for creating your data collection instruments, as well as transitioning projects into the new platform. Brian and Jen have reserved the last 10 minutes for questions, so feel free to use that chat feature on the bottom of your screen to add your questions. We understand that some of you may have concerns and questions about moving your projects, so Jen and Brian will stay on afterward to answer those concerns. I want to remind everyone that this session is recorded, and we will send the link and the PowerPoint with notes to those who have attended. And finally, as you leave this session, you will be directed to a brief survey. We welcome your thoughts on how we can improve our presentations and what additional topics you are interested in hearing about in the future. Now, let's move on to the presentation. Please join me in welcoming our guest speakers, Brian Gerald and Jen Mock.
Thanks, Wanda, and thank you all for attending today. We're excited to give this presentation on the REDCap application, the changes to the REDCap program at UMB, and best practices when using the new platform. As Wanda mentioned, my name's Jen Mock. I'm a REDCap database manager with the ICTR at UMB.
And my name is Brian Gerald. I am also a REDCap database administrator here at the UMB ICTR.
And yes, as Wanda also mentioned, that we'll be emailing these slides, so you have this information, and then we'll be here to answer any of your questions at the end of the presentation.
All right, let's get this presentation started. We're going to start with the agenda. You might have heard some of it before, but this session provides an overview of REDCap at the University of Maryland, Baltimore. We'll introduce the new UMB REDCap platform, including our updated support model, evolving campus requirements, and a look at some of the newest features now available. We'll also highlight best practices for building effective and well-structured databases in REDCap, helping you design projects that are both efficient and analyzable. Finally, we'll walk through key guidance for migrating existing projects to the new platform, ensuring a smooth and secure transition. Now, I know you might be asking, what is REDCap? REDCap is actually an acronym for Research Electronic Data Capture. It is a secure web-based application designed for managing data and creating data collection instruments, such as forms and surveys and research environments. While REDCap can be used in generally any research environment, it can also be used outside of the research environment. It provides a flexible platform for both small-scale and large-scale research projects. Some of the historical context of REDCap is that it was created in 2004 at Vanderbilt University by Dr. Paul Harris as a tool to improve the efficiency of research data collection. It was initially developed for use within Vanderbilt, but it quickly expanded as other universities recognized its values and things such as NIH CTSA funding also expanded. Today, it's known worldwide and used by institutions worldwide, of course, and that is shown here. REDCap is licensed for free to nonprofits around the world with roughly 3.8 million users worldwide in over 163 countries. All of these red little dots or pin marks on the map behind here represents an institution or an organization that has their own REDCap instance or environment. And as you can see, it's heavily used around the world. So we're lucky to have it. So we can go somewhere over the core capabilities and functions of REDCap as well. So first, we'll start with data collection. We're going to mention this a lot. It allows for the creation of custom data entry forms and surveys to meet the specific needs of research studies, both single site and multi-site. We have security and compliance. It's fully compliant with HIPAA, and REDCap provides customizable access control to ensure only authorized people can view specific data in a project. There's also continuous audit trails and logging to track user actions for compliance and oversight. So you know what somebody is doing within your project, and me and Jen know what's going on inside the application as a whole. We also have the user-friendly interface, which is an easy-to-use interface designed for non-technical users, reducing the need for advanced coding knowledge, such as drag and drop features and for building forms and surveys, and the ability to preview those changes in real time. But despite being this user-friendly application, we do have those powerful capabilities for the advanced users, such as automated workflows and data validation rules. Next, we're going to speak about this a lot as well, is the data management and analysis. We support data imports and exports from various statistical packages, such as SAS, SPSS, R, and Stata. And it also includes those built-in data validation features to minimize data entry errors. And last but not least, we have collaboration. We have multi-site, multi-user collaboration, allowing research teams from different locations to share data securely and efficiently. Along with that comes with DAGs, which is data access groups, which we'll speak about as well, which is a functionality that enables the management of data access at the level of specific research groups. So as we move forward, while REDCap has a global adoption, it's important to understand who it's built for and how it differs from tools like Qualtrics. Qualtrics is a platform for creating general surveys, think marketing research or customer feedback or event polls. But REDCap is a purpose-built application for researchers, especially in clinical, academic, and longitudinal studies where security, regulatory compliance, and complex data collection is essential. We can go somewhere over these features that set REDCap apart from Qualtrics. So first, we'll start with the full user support. REDCap offers full support, meaning researchers can get guidance and troubleshooting help at every stage of their project, whether it's within the application itself or it's from me and Jen. It excels at supporting prospective research studies where data is collected over time, often with repeated measures, can be used with scheduling and follow-ups. The platform provides enhanced security features designed to handle clinical and other sensitive research data in compliance with institutional and regulatory requirements. REDCap is capable of integrating with Epic, enabling direct data imports from the electronic medical record when approved and configured appropriately. And by contrast, Qualtrics cannot be used to collect or store Epic data, making it unsuitable for projects involving patient medical record information. And moving forward, it also allows, it has a suite of data quality tools to help validate those entries and maintain the integrity of your data set throughout the project lifecycle. It allows for those de-identified data exports, making it easier to share data or work with analysts while protecting the participant privacy. And as I mentioned before, we can export directly to statistical software such as SAS and R. And REDCap also has built-in randomization module, which is especially useful for clinical trials and other studies that require control group assignments. And we speak about before, multi-site studies and those DAG groups also make REDCap apart from Qualtrics. So if we move over, we're going to talk about REDCap now here at UMB and the journey where we're starting and where we're going now. So first, we're going to talk about the sunset in REDCap. So this current REDCap was brought to campus in 2012 by the School of Medicine IGS, as we all most know this REDCap probably as the most used on campus. It's still accessible at the listed URL, but access requires the SOM REDCap VPN. We all know that VPN, which can be a barrier for some of our users. Over time, we know it's experienced some growing performance issues, which has affected the usability for many of our researchers. And currently, we are no longer accepting new projects in this environment. As you know from our emails and our cleanup initiative, we ask all users to remove or delete inactive projects or completed projects by July 31st, 2025. If you've done this, great. If you haven't, please contact us. The major step in this transition is to move our active projects from the sunset and REDCap over to the new UMB REDCap platform, which offers improved stability, access, and long-term support. Now let's move over to the new UMB REDCap. So this one is available for the new UMB REDCap, the University of Maryland, Baltimore, the University of Maryland Medical System, and as mentioned before, the University of Maryland, College Park. It's available for all these campuses and institutions. And more importantly, it is free for faculty, staff, and students. We had some questions about that probably, but this might answer that question, that this is free for faculty, staff, and students. And as we move forward, as mentioned before, the administrators of the new UMB REDCap is with the UMB ICTR, that is me and Jen. And the IT infrastructure is provided by the UMB Center for Information Technology Services, CITS. We are all cloud-based. We have no on-prem servers or databases. So also with the new UMB REDCap, we have ongoing maintenance and system upgrades scheduled for the last Friday of every month between 6 a.m. and 8 a.m. Eastern. And this is every last Friday. We also have continuous backups that can also be called automated point-in-time backups, which is leveraged by the Azure cloud infrastructure. So what this means is that backups are retained for 35 days with the ability to restore at any point within that time window, offering robust data protection and recovery options. We had a hiccup last week with our sunsetting instance, where we had an incident, but because we have backups on our new UMB REDCap, we won't ever experience anything like that. And I must add that newest features are added biannually to our application. So every 6 months, there are new features, and me and Jen would be here to convey what those features are. So let's move over to the UMB REDCap resources and support. So REDCap is designed to be kind of a self-service platform. We want to empower our researchers to build and manage their own projects at their own pace. And what this can look like is, say, me and Jen isn't here one day, or some people in their labs, they may have a REDCap assistant and they're not there that day. You still have that control of your project and how it functions if you need to change anything or, alter it. And to support this empowering our researchers, we have a wide range of training videos, FAQs, and guidance materials available directly within the REDCap system, helping users navigate both basic tasks and advanced features with confidence. And this screenshot, which is one of many of where to find these helping FAQs, is just the training videos and help section found at the top tab of REDCap from the home page. Additional resources such as FAQs, best practices, and maybe a project migration user guide can be found on the UMB ICTR website as well. And we will have more resources to come. And of course, our REDCap team support, our REDCap team is available for one-on-one consultations, project reviews, and tailored trainings designed specifically for your team or department. For personalized support or any questions about your project, please feel free to reach out to us anytime at redcap@umaryland.edu. All right, let's move over to the new campus requirements. Okay, all patient medical record information, including de-identified epic data. Some examples of this can be data pools or chart reviews, but regardless, this must now be stored in the UMB secure research environment. Outside patient record information, say like from a non-source and other sensitive information data must also be stored in the UMB secure research environment. So even if it doesn't come from UMS, but it's patient medical information, still has to go in the SRE. And so REDCap is now available in the UMB SRE to support projects that meet these storage requirements. This change ensures that compliance with security and privacy regulations while protecting sensitive information. So I know you're asking, what exactly is the SRE? The UMB Secure Research Environment is a secure virtual desktop designed to protect sensitive and restricted research data. Data can be entered into a REDCap project in the SRE using data entry forms, surveys, or by importing the data directly. You can also analyze your data directly in the SRE using the statistical tools available there. Access to the SRE is managed by the UMS Research Informatics Core, also called the RIC team, in collaboration with the UMB SIT IT support group. Now that we talk about that, we're going to talk about how to actually access the new UMB REDCap. So to access the REDCap, you simply visit the UMB REDCap website here, umbredcap.uml.edu, and you can log in with your UMID, or if you're College Park, your UMD Directory ID. We utilize single sign-on for both campuses. And this is only for approved projects that do not contain that patient medical record data or that highly sensitive information. And once you log in here, you can create a new project by clicking the new project button located at the top of the home page. And any new project by default is private. So for those needing to use REDCap within the UMB SRE research environment, access is only possible from the SRE itself. So if you was to go to this link right here to the right outside of the SRE, it's inaccessible. You can only access it within the SRE. But if you don't have SRE access, you can reach out to redcap@uml.edu and we can help you get set up. All right, and I will pass this over to my colleague, Jen Malk.
Thanks, Brian. Yeah, so I'll go ahead and take over to talk about some of the new features that are available in the new UMB REDCap. As we mentioned, we get new features biannually. So these are some new features that we have added to our instance after the last upgrade. So the three that I'll highlight today are descriptive pop-ups, draft preview mode, and the randomization enhancements. So descriptive pop-ups are custom pop-ups of text that become visible after hovering over a specific word or phrase on a data entry form or survey. So these are a great way to convey additional information on a form or a survey without the text taking up additional space on the page. Draft preview mode will allow you to preview your data entry forms in draft mode as if the changes were live in the project. So if you're in production, you can enter draft mode and then toggle this feature on. And by doing this, you can fully test the changes in a record that you've made in draft mode, including branching logic, field embedding, calculated fields, to confirm that the changes work as expected before submitting your drafted changes for approval. One of the newer feature upgrades in REDCap is the randomization enhancements, which allows for multiple randomizations in a project and blinded randomization support. So you can now have more than one randomization model in a project, and each has its own settings, meaning it has its own stratification, randomization field, and allocation table, and they're completely independent of each other. And now REDCap allows for blinded randomization support. So you can create a model that's concealed from project team members. And with this feature, you'll randomize participants to a random randomization number with a text field instead of a multiple choice field. So these enhancements will allow you to expand the randomization that you're able to do in your REDCap project. And we're happy to provide more information on these enhancements if they can benefit your projects. REDCap has a lot of exciting features to customize your projects, but we want to highlight some additional features that you may or may not be familiar with. So you can consent participants electronically in REDCap with the e-consent framework and PDF snapshots. When a survey is enabled with this framework, a confirmation page is displayed for the participant, and a signed PDF copy of the consent is saved in the file repository in the project. REDCap now also supports multi-form consents to combine forms into a single PDF snapshot. In the new REDCap, you'll have the ability to send invitations to your survey participants with a third-party service called Mozio. This comes with an additional fee for the researcher, but with Mozio, you can send survey invitations with text messages, which can be used in combination with emailed invitations in a project. You may already be familiar with this feature, but you can use an application called Alerts and Notifications to communicate with survey participants, team members on a project, or other individuals not listed on the project. So you may want to use this feature if you want to notify your team if a survey response is submitted and an individual is eligible for a study, or you may want to email your survey participants a copy of their consent form. So this feature really gives you some flexibility in communicating from the REDCap project. And then you may not be familiar with the MyCap app, which is a participant-facing app that offers offline data collection capabilities and is a great tool if participants are frequently submitting data and they have iOS or Android devices. So we have resources on this feature if you're interested in more information. So next I'll talk about our new request processes when using the new REDCap and then best practices. So there are new request processes that some of you may already seen. We have a new project request form. We require a form for each new project, and this captures the requester and PI information if applicable. And it also really helps us track the transition of the project off the sunsetting platform. This also reports on the collection of patient medical record data, including UMS EPIC data. We also have a move to production request form, which will be required whenever you're ready to go live and collect data. And this form will ask for your IRB determination letter. Please keep in mind that projects involving UMS EPIC data will require IRB approval as well as approval from UMS, and will ask for this letter for all project types involving UMS data. The move to production form also includes a project checklist to ensure the project is designed with best practices in mind and is fully tested. So next we want to empower you to build great REDCap databases and talk about some instrument design best practices. So your record ID field must be the first field and the first instrument in the project. The record ID is the unique identifier assigned for each record, which could be a research participant enrolled in your study, and it's how REDCap links all your data collection instruments together for a particular record. So this field should not be an identifier such as an MRN or a name, as this information can be exposed in project URLs, is visible to anyone that has access to the project, and keeping this field unique will allow you to de-identify your data exports. Whenever possible, keep forms short as these are easier to complete mentally. So whether it's a survey or a data entry form, breaking up your forms in a shorter format will be easier for the participant or the data entry team member and allows more opportunities for data to be saved to the project. You'll want to limit free text fields as these are difficult to analyze. And you'll want to collect fields with data analysis in mind. And use multiple choice whenever possible. So REDCap allows for checkboxes, radio fields, and drop-downs to create multiple choice fields, and this will ensure that the data that you're collecting is consistent and structured. It's also best practice to validate fields whenever possible to ensure that text fields collect the type of data that you're expecting. So you can use validation for emails, dates, phone numbers, and zip codes. Whenever you validate a field, only data in the appropriate format will be accepted in the form or the survey. This is especially important for email addresses if you're emailing survey invitations from the project. You'll want to consistently code your answer choices. So this means, like in the example here, that fields coded as other, NA, or prefer not to answer are coded as higher numbers. So if you return to the field to add more answer choices at a later point in time, you'll have available options after the last coded choice. Also, if other is used multiple times in the project, this number should be coded the same across all fields so the data is consistent. You also have the ability to copy the answer choices that you used in a previous field. So say for instance, in this example, we're using like a Likert scale. If this is used for multiple questions, you can copy them over if you've already created one question with these answer choices. And this will keep your answer choices consistent across the project. Your variable name should be short and meaningful, which will be helpful if referencing a variable name in branching logic, piping, and calculated fields, and it'll be helpful whenever you're ready to analyze your data. And lastly, you'll want to ensure that identifiers are flagged if these fields are necessary in the project. This is how REDCap can de-identify your data export. And a lot of what we went over here regarding best practices are aspects of the project that us as admins will review and provide feedback on when we're ready to move to production. And we do have a best practices user guide as one of our resources on our website if for more information. So briefly, I'll talk about best practices for the project lifecycle in REDCap. So you'll want to thoroughly test your project while it's in development. When you're finished testing, you'll move the project to production before data collection begins. This is when we will delete any test data that you've entered in the project. And once your data collection is completed, you'll transition the project to analysis cleanup to preserve the data. Lastly, if the project's no longer needed in REDCap, you can remove it as REDCap's not meant to be a long-term storage solution. So next I'll talk about the transition to the new UMB REDCap platform and how to migrate your projects if you have projects on the sunsetting platform. So the first thing is to thoroughly think through your project's data collection plan and determine if where the appropriate REDCap environment to request the project. All projects that require the SRE will need to be migrated by a REDCap administrator, and you can reach out to us to help with that process. And then all active projects should be migrated immediately or as soon as feasible, depending on the project complexity and data collection status. And if immediate migration is not possible, please provide our team with an estimate date for the transition. Projects that are still in development that have not collected data and that do not require the SRE can be self-migrated. You'll just go into Project Setup and the Other Functionality tab in the project and under Download or Backup the project, you'll choose to download the project XML without data. To move the project, you'll select to create a new project in the new UMB REDCap and upload this XML file. If a project is paused or if a project is in analysis or pause but will continue to collect data in the future, it can be migrated now. In this process, we'll want to ensure that you retain a copy of the data export file, which includes your survey timestamp data, the data dictionary, your logging history, so you have the audit trail of what happened in the project, any PDFs or file uploads that were uploaded in the project, and your consent files, which would be located in the PDF snapshot archive if you enabled the eConsent framework. So these files can be uploaded and stored in the file repository of the new project. Active projects can be moved when data collection can be paused. So some important aspects that we want to take into consideration are surveys and whether the project is collecting data with a public survey link or QR code associated with the public survey. So whenever you transfer a project, the new project gets a new public survey link and QR code. If you've posted the public survey link on a flyer or website, you'll want to ensure that you can change out that link. And then also, if you're sending out individual survey invitations, you'll want to consider if you've previously sent survey links or have scheduled survey invitations in your future survey invitation log. So you'll want to transfer the project when a participant is not returning to a previously sent link. And if you're scheduling future survey invitations, you'll want to send these invitations out from the new project. So these invitations will need to be removed from the old project and rescheduled from the new project. If you've enabled alerts in your project and you've scheduled notifications, we'll want to make sure that you're in a place to reschedule these from the new project. And these considerations are all aspects that you can work with us, the REDCap team, to determine an appropriate time to make the transition, whether it's now or in the future. So whenever your project can be paused and we can get these links resent from the new project. Another important feature to plan for is active randomization. If you've already randomized participants in your project, we'll want to work with your statistician to ensure that we have an updated randomization table to continue data collection in the new project. We have a project migration user guide that steps through all the information that you might want to retain when moving a project and all of these active considerations if your all of these considerations if your project's an active data collection. And we're also here to help you with this process in any way that we can. After your project transfer is completed, please allow yourself time to review the projects and confirm that all data and metadata, so your logging history, all the files that you want to retain have been successfully transferred. It's important to remove user access from the old project, add users to the new project, and then delete the original project to prevent new project edits or continued data collection. Lastly, we just want to say thank you for your work on this project cleanup effort and with this important transition to the new platform. We really appreciate your help in making this a success. We're excited to support all the great work that you do and to assist with any of your future REDCap project needs, whether you're just getting started in REDCap, interested in learning new features, or can benefit from our assistance in project setup guidance or training. We're here to be a resource to you and everyone that you work with on your REDCap project. So thank you so much for attending, and I think we can go ahead and take questions now. I think we saw a few come through.
Hi, Jen. Yes, we do have Kristen Riley that has her hand up, so maybe we can start with that, and we'll let her talk and ask her to unmute. Kristen?
Hold on, I'm giving her permission to speak. Give me 1 second.
I think I already did. Kristen, do you want to try and speak? I think she's...
Oh, I mean, you said Kristen Riley. Are you saying Kristen Maloney? I didn't raise my hand, so I'm not really sure what's going on.
Oh, sorry. We have two Kristens right together here. So... Kristen, you want to try and... Oh.
Okay. I mean, so the Kristen who raised her hand did not have a question, and I have a question, but I didn't raise my hand. So, but if you want me to ask it, I'm happy to ask it.
Sure.
Oh, well, so 2 questions. Will the UM version of Qualtrics be discontinued?
No, there's no plans to discontinue Qualtrics on the campus.
Okay.
But when it comes to, if you're using it to collect sensitive information, well, actually, you're not permitted to put UMS EPIC data in Qualtrics.
Yeah.
And if you're collecting sensitive information, the campus does not want sensitive information collected in that format. They want any sensitive information in medical record information and EPIC medical record information to go into that SRE environment. If you're using Qualtrics to do satisfaction surveys, some, just simple surveys, then yes, that's still available.
Okay, so completely anonymous, even if it's asking about health, like. no way to.
If it's Epic data, even
No, it is not Epic
de-identified.
data. No Epic
Oh,
data at all.
Okay, so no, if you are just like, if it's just anonymous type of data collection, you're sending out surveys, or yes, it's still available for use.
Okay. But do you need to use the secure version of Qualtrics if there's sensitive information, but there's no way to tie it back to any person?
The campus standing on this is that sensitive information, well, I think we might have to talk to our campus IT level, because if there is no way to link it back and there's none of the typical identifiers that could possibly link it back to that respondent, then I think we really do need to follow up with our campus IT security team to address that question. So if it's okay with you, Kristen, we will put that question to aside and reach back out to you with that information.
Thank you. Yeah, just so there's no Epic data. That's the thing. No Epic data.
Sure. Okay, sounds great. Thank you. So, just looking to see who else is here.
I think we have a question about the different links for between the SRE and REDCap in the SRE.
Yeah, that's from Patrick. Hey, Patrick, how's it going? So yeah, it's essentially two installations. One lives outside of the SRE, one lives inside of the SRE. The one outside of the SRE is meant for that kind of non-patient medical information. The one within the SRE is meant for that patient medical record information. And there are two separate links. So if you try to access the SRE link outside of the SRE, you won't be able to access that version of REDCap as it should be for that protectiveness. I don't know if I hope I answered your question. If not, you can just post a comment.
So we have a question from Kelly about Twilio. She's wanting to know if it is no longer supported. If you're currently using Twilio, will it transfer automatically to Mozio?
So Twilio and Mozio are two separate services. So if you're using Twilio in the old REDCap, I think we'll want to talk about your specific project and how best to transition, if your project can be transitioned over to Mozio, or just how long your project might need to be kept on the old REDCap. Mozio is, I know a lot of REDCap instances are going in the direction of moving to Mozio as it's more geared for research. So I think we'll want to probably talk specifically about your project and how best, but really with Mozio, you would enable that feature and then add in your phone number the same as you would with a Twilio setup. It's just a different number that's provided by a different service. Is the UMB SRE platform active? It is active. And if we are talking about the REDCap in general or just the SRE in itself has been active for a while. If you've requested data epic files, you've probably already have experience with the SRE. But the SRE REDCap is active. We already have projects using the SRE REDCap. We are trying to get projects as a whole onboarded into the SRE REDCap platform. So we're trying, but yes, it is active. It's in the early stages, but it is active.
So, Jen, Kelly Duran has a question. When should all projects be transitioned into the new system?
I think that's going to heavily depend on how long the dates active projects might need to stay on the old instance. As we've mentioned, like there are some performance issues, so we ideally want to get projects moved off. We were hoping by the end of the year, but we've already heard some projects need extension into early next year. So if you have a project that's going to require a later date, I would say reach out to us, work with us and provide us these estimated dates. So that will help us determine how long we need the environment to stay online and be active for our projects. We definitely don't want to cause any unnecessary disruptions, and then just plan to transition whenever possible. And then the instance will stay online until all migrations are completed.
Cindy, Jeffy has a question about, can another University System of Maryland institution be added, for example, UMBC? Cindy, I can add that currently the only other USM institution right now is College Park, because College Park their system was aging out and having problems, and they needed to transfer it as soon as possible. So that's why UMB has taken over the College Park's REDCap, and basically what that means is that we absorbed their projects and we continue to support their users there at College Park. UMBC, I believe, already has a REDCap instance, so those researchers at UMBC would be using that REDCap instance unless that changes in the future. But if you have someone from UMBC that is a collaborator and you want to add them to your REDCap project, then that's possible, and we would Jen Brian can help you with that.
Yeah, I was going to add on that. So currently, our single sign-on only has University of Maryland, Baltimore, and University of College Park. So we can log in prospectively with our own credentials. If you're talking from a collaborator point where you don't want them to go through like the affiliate process, and you want UMBC or somebody from Johns Hopkins to log in our application with their own, say, institutional credentials, that is a question for our IT team. It takes IT teams from both campuses to actually make that happen in some type of agreement. So we do plan to maybe expand our single sign-on services to other institutions, but we have to figure out that process on who will be that institution.
So the other one is, please read for me, I cannot use mic. Is there any flexibility on the routine maintenance times for international users? We have several sites abroad that use REDCap for direct data entry on alternate time zones. That's a good question.
That is a good question, and that's kind of it's not tough to answer, but we would have to pick some type of downtime. I think we picked 6 a.m. because it was the most least productivity going on in the system. But if you can maybe just reach out to us and let us know what those time zones are, or what time that this group specifically works in REDCap, we can try to work with you and the team.
And I'll add that most maintenance does not require downtime. It's good to expect that and build that in for the time that we plan for, but not all of those upgrades do require downtime.
Yeah. The past upgrades we did, we have not had to take the system offline. So you've actually been working in the system while doing an upgrade early in the morning, if you was up that early.
So the question from Sophie Harper is about how, when, and how frequent data is backed up.
Yeah, so we have automated point in time backups, also called continuous backups, which means currently as we speak, the database and web servers are backing up every minute or so. And so that means we can restore any time point from 35 days and before. Well, any 35-day window we can restore from. So a simple answer would say that we back up continuously every day, every moment.
So Kelly has, I think this was probably, no, so we have, sorry, I'm just scrolling here. Could you elaborate on the process for UMMS affiliate institutions to gain access to the UMB SRE instance? Does it differ from those at UMB? And I can add to this, Sam, that we work with UMS to create to add UMS affiliate institutions to our campus community system, which provides UMS employees with a UMID, and that helps them to log in to that UMB REDCap and have access to that SRE environment as well. So if you have questions about that, you can email the ICTR Navigator, and I'll put that information in the chat here in a moment. And so if you have someone that an employee that needs that to be added to the UMB community system so that they can have that UMID for the purposes of accessing REDCap, building projects in REDCap, we can help you with that.
And we just shared the URL for the SRE for Patrick. Patrick, you won't be able to access this inside of the DOM desktop or the research desktop. This is only available in the SRE host shared pool that we'll have to get you access to. And to Justine's question, would access for another collaborating institution ever be easier and not need to use for the community system? Yeah, I was talking about that just now with, I think, Cindy. We are hoping to expand our single sign-on institutions so people can sign in with their own credentials, but it's a two-way process. It takes two to tango in this. It would be us working with this institution's IT team as well. So I think we want to maybe gather who everybody is working with mostly with these institutions and make this happen in the future.
And I'll add that for anyone with that we have a process for getting employees REDCap accounts to sign in with UMIDs. I think there was a question related to that here in the chat. So we can definitely help with but it would still be an affiliate ID, affiliate account with a UMID to sign into REDCap.
Mm-hmm.
So you can reach out to us for that.
Oh, I see Christine. I use REDCap based at UCSD for a project with 24 sites. They use Keycloak. Oh, okay, that's nice. I can put that in my notes. We use Shibboleth. That may be a tool also with Keycloak, but I'm not sure, but we can follow up.
Brian, can you explain what that is?
Keycloak?
Yes.
I'm not sure myself. I would just assuming that it's some type of authentication service.
Okay.
I don't know if we have any other questions. Okay. Yeah, Cindy, there's no cost to use the application. It is available for all faculty, staff, students. Yeah, feel free to, and then reach out to us if we can assist, with any REDCap project support.
So if we don't have any additional questions, if there are individuals on this session that have questions about transferring their projects over to the new REDCap or questions about transferring to the SRE REDCap, we can stay on if you like, but please let us know in the chat if you would like us to do that.
Well, thank you. We really do look forward to working with you.
Jen, you're cutting out.
Well, I guess it was good that it was the end of the presentation. Could you hear me now?
Yes.
Yep, you good.
Okay, good. Well, yeah, I was just saying we appreciate you all and we look forward to working with you all on your future REDCap projects and continuing to work with you on this transition. Thank you so much. And Dr. Davis, I know that you joined a few. have
Right.
anything else.
Thank you, everyone.
So, thanks to Wanda for emceeing, and thanks to Jen and Brian for an absolutely superb presentation, and also the participants for being so engaged. I think this is a record number of questions, and you've given us a few extra things to think about, and we will certainly follow up and work with you, because the whole point of the ICTR is to be there and customize our cores and resources for our investigators. So thank you.
So we just have Kristen Malone to follow up with regarding her question about using Qualtrics to collect anonymous data that might have sensitive information in there, but it looks like most people are logging off and saying goodbye. That's wonderful. So everyone, I think we can let everyone go back and enjoy their lunches. Thank you so much, Jen. Brian, great presentation. Rachel, thank you so much for being our host. Really appreciate it. Thank you, Dr. Davis.
Thank you all.
All right, everybody, see you.